Wow, what a year this has been. I hope you're having a great time with Teen Girl Conference, whether you're in a group or you're doing this from home. God is moving, and that is so exciting. With this past year being such a crazy year, I know it has made it especially difficult to feel like we know ourselves, right? Like the way we've handled this, the way it's affected us, it has just been absolutely insane. Maybe you feel a little bit lost, or maybe you feel really lost. Whatever it is, tonight we just want to help you know how to walk through being able to find your identity. There's nothing to be ashamed about. I'm pretty sure we've all dealt with this, regardless of COVID or not, where there's just been times in our lives where we do feel a little bit lost. We feel like we don't really know ourselves and that we need to figure out what that is. From the time that we were young, we were labeled, right? And sometimes even we choose labels later in life, whether it's sporty, whether it's smart, whether it's being, beautiful and kind of being not obsessed, but you just are really loving all of that beauty stuff. Whether it's being super friendly and having that best friend that just has always been in your life. Being popular. There are so many. Maybe you're a dancer. Maybe you play instruments. You're in band. You're a cheerleader. Whatever it might be, we kind of either get these labels put on us or we choose these labels. Regardless of whatever your label may be, we so often wrap our identity into that label, right? It can depict who we become friends with. It can depict what you decide to do with your future. Are you going to play sports in college? Are you planning on continuing to work with little kids when you're older and it's your job? Whatever it may be, it's like it pulls us in a specific direction. And sometimes it's not even the direction we really want, but we feel pushed that way because of the labels that have been put on us or that we've chosen. It can become an obsession that we put before everything else, right? Those practices, the time spent in preparing, the time spent in doing, the money that is spent, it becomes an obsession, so much so that it is more important than anything else that we do. It's what we can end up becoming known for. But that label can also be turned around. When I was in high school, I can so clearly remember walking down the hallway and talking with somebody, and there was this girl that was just not being kind. She was talking about me behind my back and just kind of creating this problem that didn't really need to be there, and I didn't know why, because we weren't friends. It's not somebody that I knew very well. Like, we would say hi to each other, but she didn't really know me, right? And I remember this person that I was walking down the hallway with telling me, oh yeah, she said that you're super fake because there's no way anybody could be nice to all the people in this school like you are. And I remember just feeling so defeated. This label that this person just stuck on me, calling me fake. And even though I knew it wasn't true, even though I knew that me being nice to people wasn't about me trying to be fake, it was about the fact that I wanted to show people who Jesus was, right? But she called me fake, and that stuck on me. And even though I knew it wasn't true, it's like it just stuck there, and I would think about it. And even still, I'm 38 years old. I've been out of high school for a very long time. And even still, I can remember exactly where I was standing next to exactly the classroom and the locker when she told me that that person said that I was fake. I knew it wasn't true. Just like another time that I was told that I always had to be the center of attention. And this happened when I was like 6 years old. It was VBS at my church, and they had asked for a volunteer. No one was raising their hand, so I raised my hand, and the teacher said, just because you're a pastor's kid doesn't mean you always have to be the center of attention. Like, how does that even make sense, right? But in her head it did, and she said it, and it stuck. Or another time that I was told that, you know what, you can just be like too much for people sometimes. Those things stick to us, what people say. It's hard to get past those things, whether they're true or not. We let those labels stick to us. Have you ever had somebody label you as something that you weren't? It hurts, right? It hurts and it's wrong. They shouldn't do those things, but yet it happens. And those labels, they can get stuck, right? Like these labels right here. Maybe she missed a shot. And so somebody said, wow, you really failed on that one. And that stuck, right? Even though she's probably made a bunch of shots. I am not sporty, so we'll just go with that, right? But maybe that part, that label, that piece of being a failure, that really stuck. And maybe you've got best friends. And it's not that they're trying to be cliquish, right? But yet somebody at some point said, you know what? You're just a clique. You don't want to be friends with anybody else. That's not what they're truly thinking on the inside in their heart. But yet that label, it sticks and it causes problems. Or maybe you're called fake. Just because you like to wear makeup and make your hair look pretty, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But somebody decided that you were fake because of something that you just really like. Maybe somebody tells you, you know what? You just like being the center of attention. You're popular and you're always out in front of everybody and you just always have to be the center of attention. And that's not the heart behind who you are. But those labels stick. They stick and they hurt. But there's only one way to truly get rid of those, to truly just let those labels fall off of you. In Ephesians 4:22 through 24, it says, throw off your old sinful nature and your former way of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and attitudes. Put on your new nature, created to be like God, truly righteous and holy. Here's the thing. Being sporty, popular, beautiful, smart, having friends, all these things that make you, they're all great things. They're things that God can use, right? They're things that God can use. But Satan wants us to believe that the labels of failure, of being obsessed, of being cliquish, of being fake, of having to be the center of attention, he wants us to believe those labels. He wants us to believe that that's what's true about who we are. He wants us to get lost in our identity, good or bad, so that God can't shape us to be like him. See, if you're so concerned with being the best, if you're so concerned with having the most friends, if you're so concerned with what you're going to do with your future and getting into the right college, if you're so concerned about being the best mom, right? We've got adults sitting in here with us too. If you're so concerned about all of those things, you're distracted by what this life has to offer instead of what God has to offer. This verse tells us to let the Spirit renew our thoughts and our attitudes. That means that regardless of whether we are the captain of our basketball team, or we're the star pupil, or we're the most popular girl in school, our thoughts and attitudes need to be like Jesus. See, there's nothing wrong with all of those things as long as we're being like Jesus in all of those things. We need to know God to be like God. And that's done through spending time with him. It's done through reading his word and praying and worshiping and being involved in your church or in a small group. It's being challenged and encouraged by others that can help you be shaped into who God created you to be. That's what's so awesome about him, is he didn't just create us and leave us on this earth and say, oh, you'll figure it out, right? He gave us everything that we need. This verse also tells us to put on our new nature, created to be like God. Girls, we were created to be like God. That means that we have, with God, we have everything that we need to be like him. Right? The Bible tells us that. It just said it. You don't buy a cup that was created to be a cup and use it as a toothbrush, right? Girls, do you do that? Do you use cups to brush your teeth? I didn't think so. That one got Chloe. It was pretty funny. So you don't use a cup to brush your teeth with, right? God created us to be like him. That means we have the ability to be like God. So many times I hear, we all have maybe even said it. Oh, there's no possible way to do it. So what's the point, right? I can't be perfect like God, so why even try? But let me tell you something. God has given you what you need to be like him. It says it right here in this verse. It says it, created to be like God. If God, that guy who created the entire universe, he's a pretty important guy and he knows what he's talking about. If he created us to be like him, then don't you think that it's possible? We don't have to accept the lie that this world tells us, that even maybe Christians who were trying to be, helpful may tell you that it's impossible to live a life that is truly righteous and truly holy. But it can be done. I struggled for so many years feeling like I didn't really have a good testimony. See, I've never been a teenage girl when I was a teenager, or even when I was in college as a young adult. I never really strayed from the Lord. I didn't go to parties. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't have sex before I was married. I didn't use bad language. I didn't do any of those things. And I'm not telling you that to make you feel like you're a failure if you have. I'm telling you that to tell you that with God's help, with the Spirit living and working inside of you, it is possible to do this life the way that God wants us to do this life, and have so much joy and so much love. And even though labels were put on me, it was okay. It hurt, but I had God with me, so it was okay. So regardless of what your past may look like, regardless of the labels that you might have on you, just know that with God, it is so possible to turn things around, or to keep walking down that path, to keep doing everything you can to live with him, by him, through him. You were created by God. You weren't an accident. You're not a joke. You're not a mistake. You were created by God. It's right there in that verse. God doesn't put things in the Bible by mistake. He created you to be holy and righteous. He created you to be able to go out into this world and change the world. Our identity isn't about who we are. It's not about being popular. It's not about playing sports. It's not about being smart. It's not about having the right kind of job or the right kind of family or living in the right neighborhood. It's not about who we are. It's not about the things that we do or the roles that we fill. It's not about measuring up to expectations. It isn't about our failures or our mistakes. See, our identity isn't about who we are, because our identity is about whose we are. And girls, you are God's children. You are God's daughters. You are a daughter of the King, and that is so incredible. Live in that. Don't let that be something that causes you to feel like you can't measure up. Don't let that be something that makes you feel funny. Let that be something that encourages you to stand up and say, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be that girl who allows people to not see me, but to see Jesus when they see me. To see Jesus when they look at my life. And even though I might make a mistake, that I might fall off that wagon, that I might do something that really isn't very pleasing to God. But you know what? As they're watching me make that mistake, they're also going to see me get back up and keep on going. Because that's what's important. Not the mistake. God doesn't care about that. He forgives and forgets and never thinks about it again. We're the ones that hold it over our heads, right? God doesn't. So get back up. Keep following him. Keep doing what he's called you to do. Be a part of his family. Choose to live a righteous and holy life as he has created you to do. So I just want to give you a couple of questions as you meet with your small group, if you're doing this at your church, or maybe you just want to take some time to journal by yourself. However you want to do it, or your leaders have planned for you, there's just some questions that I want you to be able to ask. Why do you think it is hard not to place our identity in who we are? Why do you think it's difficult to not do what the world shows us to do? Number 2, what labels have you chosen or that have been chosen for you? What are those labels that have kind of stuck to you, whether it's that you're the captain of a sports team or a great piano player, whatever it might be? What are those labels that God can use, but that are worldly labels? Number 3, what labels have stuck that are hurtful? What have people said to you that maybe you've held inside that you've never really told anyone? What are those labels that just make you feel bad about who God created you to be? Write those down. Share those. Get them out there so that you can get rid of those. God doesn't want those labels on you. And number 4, what can you do to start seeing your identity not in who you are, but in whose you are? Girls, I hope that this has helped you know that God loves you so much, that He didn't create you by accident. He created you for a purpose, that you are known by Him, that you are loved by Him. He has so much for you, and all you have to do is say, God, here I am. Help me to live for you the way that you created me to. Thank you so much, and I really hope that you have a great night.